Welcome to another edition of Train Tuesday, where we discuss the latest pre-orders for the new Athearn announcements for the month of May. I'm your host, Jim Wiggin, and if you like the content that Athearn brings you on a weekly basis, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell. That way you're notified every time a new video like this drops into our YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the Athearn HO scale Ford F850 grain truck, as well as the Athearn Roundhouse 50-foot double-deck auto loader. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this week's train goodness. We're going to start with the Athearn Ford 850 grain truck. Now, the one that you see on your screen here, this is actually a stake truck, but it gives you the general idea of what this truck looks like. Now, this is a Ford stake bed truck that we released a couple of years ago. You might still find these on dealer shelves, and if you're inclined to pick up one of these models for yourself, the item number for this model is ATH 96819. Again, the item number is ATH 96819. Now, Ford built the 5th generation F850 from 1967 until 1979, and the Athearn model is based on a 68, although only subtle changes to the 5th generation body occurred through its lifespan, which means this truck will look great on any layout or module from 1968 to present day. Now, the trucks that I've got selected here for you this month are going to be appropriate for layouts that are set in the late 70s into the 80s and sometimes even further. So without further ado, let's talk about what is available for pre-order through your Athearn dealer, and you have until Friday, May 24th. Now, these logos that are on these vehicles are the correct logos for the era in which they represent. We're going to start with ADM 1979, which means you can go from 1979 all the way through 1980s and maybe even into the 1990s with some weathering. You've also got Schooler, 1979. Again, this is their older logo. This would be appropriate from 1979 through the 1980s. Going back to 1968 and throughout the 1970s is this Purina Mills truck. You could leave it just as you see it here, brand new for 1968, or if you're modeling the 1970s, you can definitely put some weathering and grime on those. We're also offering 3 other additional trucks, including the Cargill. Now, the Cargill, again, this is a 1979 era logo and truck. Definitely would fit through the 1980s. And then for you guys that have your own grain elevator, your own farm, you can have your choice of either the standard white cab or the orange cab trucks. And of course, these are appropriate if you were to model these as new trucks. These would be appropriate between the time span of 1968 all the way till the end of the production of this current model in 1979. Now, I can tell you, living in a small town here in Illinois, that these F850s from this era are still alive and well, and I see them every fall and every spring here on the roads back and forth to grain elevators. Now, let's talk about the features of these HO scale trucks. First of all, these are officially licensed from the Ford Motor Corporation, and they're ready to go out of the box, out of the packaging, really. Factory assembled, all the details are applied. Molded cab interior with separately applied steering wheel, and of course, clear window glazing and rubber tires. So really, the only thing left for you to do is to do some weathering and place them on your module or your layout. Now again, these Athearn HO scale trucks are available for pre-order until Friday, May 24th. We're going to switch gears now, and we're going to stay talking about automobiles, but we're going to take to the rails for our next segment. And we're going to be talking about the Athearn Roundhouse 50-foot autoloader. Now, I was kind of amused to see the comments on our videos on social media, and I even creeped into some other model railroad forums to see what people were saying about these models. There was a lot of speculation as to what these were, so hopefully we can clear this up a little bit. These are not exact scale replicas of a specific model. However, they are loosely based on one freight car that was developed back in the 50s. Now, the Athearn Roundhouse 50-foot autoloader is largely based on the experimental Evans 6-car autoloader of 1954. Evans built two cars, one for the New York Central and the other for Union Pacific. Now, while both models varied slightly in design, they both featured heavy vertical corner posts as well as an additional vertical member on either side. Both featured a hinged ramp on one end, allowing access to the upper deck. True to its name, the freight car could hold 6 full-size automobiles. The New York Central, car number 50085, was often most seen in publicity photos, and therefore there's quite a bit of information about it online and in different books. Now, the car never went any further, however, than experimental status, and it's safe to say that more Athearn HO scale versions have been produced. Now, for this run, we're offering this classic from the past, now improved. In the old days, this was part of the blue box era. They were a kit. They were painted pretty nicely for their era, but since then, they've been stepped up. No more other included plastic wheel sets. They are now metal wheel sets. The painting and the printing has gotten increasingly sharper, and you can throw away those horn hook couplers. This does not come with those. They come with the McHenry scale knuckle couplers. Another one that you see on your screen here was discontinued a long time ago. It's been a little bit since we've offered these. So let's talk about the roads that we're going to be offering for this car for the month of May. Now, each auto loader that I'm presenting here will include 3 road numbers per road without duplicating road numbers. Now, these are based on what would have been if Evans had actually produced these cars. We've had some fun with these. Most of these are 1954 era paint schemes and kind of represent what they would have looked like if this car had actually existed. So the first one is Santa Fe, and the one that you see on your screen now is road number 88750. Additionally, we're going to offer 2 other cars, 88762 and 88775. Representing the East Coast, we've got the Pennsylvania Railroad. The car that you see on your screen now is 491389, and of course we'll also offer 2 additional cars, 491568 and 491777. Over to the Union Pacific, we have 5801 pictured on your screen here, and additionally we will offer car numbers 5813 and 5838. We have 3 more cars to offer in this colorful run, starting with the New York Central. Now remember, New York Central was one of the cars, or one of the roads that was selected as kind of a test bed for the Evans 6-car auto hauler. And if you look closely at the numbering, you can kind of see that we pretty much try to put those numbers into where New York Central could have ordered multiple cars. The one that you see on your screen here is road number 499375. We're also going to offer 2 additional cars, road numbers 499386 and 500084. If that number sounds somewhat familiar, remember that the prototype that actually did exist was 500085. We're also going to offer the Frisco. Here you see car number 95832. Additionally, 95844 and 95849 will also be offered. And then finally, Grand Trunk Western with a little bit of a late 60s paint scheme. Here we've got car number 140189, and we'll also offer car numbers 140192 and 140197. Let's talk about the features of this car. Now remember, these are Roundhouse, they're not Genesis, they're not Athearn. These are our economical versions, mainly intended for younger modelers, hence why we brought this car back out, to have a little bit of fun. And who doesn't like auto haulers of this era? These are going to include separate brake wheels, body-mounted McHenry operating scale knuckle couplers, 33-inch machined wheels with RP25 contours. Of course, they're going to be weighted for optimum performance. They are fully assembled, unlike their predecessors. Nothing more than to take them out of the box and place them on your layout. They are highly detailed injection molded body. While they are based on the old blue box models, the fidelity has gotten better over the years, and they are painted and printed for realistic decoration. Now again, these are not Genesis models. They represent what could have been had this car been produced throughout the 1950s into the 1960s. Minimum radius on these cars, even if you've got a small layout in HO scale, 18 inches is your minimum radius, so you should have no trouble running these, whether it be on your home layout, your club layout, or even a modular style layout. So that's what I've got for you. And remember, you've only got a little bit of time left. You want to get these pre-orders in for these models before Friday, May 24th. And before you know it, we're going to be talking about June announcements. Well, that's all I've got for you for this version of Train Tuesday. Until next time, everyone, I hope you're happy, healthy, and you do some good modeling, and above all, high greens.